things about education. Laboni Secondary School, 3 girls' dormitories got burned. The Minister of Education was talking about an emergency fund to help. All right. So, what are the big things we need to do to secure the future of secondary education? Later this week, the Achimota Speaks event comes up again, and they are also making more proposals for free SHS. So it looks like there's a lot of interest in secondary education. So, for example, Achimota Speaks happens on Wednesday, which is tomorrow. And look at their topic, the free SHS concept, what reforms are required. All right. And this is at the British Council Hall with some very interesting speakers. Okay. And then, of course, over the weekend, a lot of old schools or a lot of secondary schools did their speech days, and you had old students doing some very, very important things. Some of them renovating classroom blocks, some of them donating equipment, some of them
ICT labs, solar
building
panels,
labs, like,
AI-powered auditoriums, and all that. So
I think that we keep saying this, and I feel we need to mainstream it now. The power of the old students network as one of the solutions to our secondary school problems needs to be properly spoken about. So we'll make some time for that this morning. So from the Laboni Secondary School problem to Otumfo's views about free SHS to the flurry of, and I want to commend the old students. So for example, Holy Child, they did theirs last weekend, not this one, last weekend. The 2000 year group were here. And Caleb, the things they've done,
projects are huge.
I couldn't believe it. And they are not even up to 300 ladies, you know. They've done so much. They've done a specific year group project.
Yeah.
And they've done another, they have about 3 projects.
So some of them have actually put together an endowment fund.
Correct.
So that all their year groups are contributing towards that endowment fund, and then the specific year group that will be running, the individual anniversaries or speech days also have a project that they run. So it's been an interesting
I want to ask a question. Which of the old school projects is the most meaningful? My seniors in the 96 year group, they did a 1 million CD endowment.
Wow.
Which I thought was great. We tried to put up a place for school gatherings because of the size of the students. Yeah. The people who followed my group, they built an AI lab, which was just fantastic. Okay. St. Augustine's 2000 year group did some pretty interesting things. My mates in Adisadel built a hostel, or I think they built a bungalow or something. This is the group that had Nilante Banaman. I think the Prempe year group, my year group Prempe, built a bungalow for their teacher. I think they built a bungalow for their teacher or one of their teachers. St. Augustine's, my year group, did some pretty interesting things as well.
So, if your year group, if Eric Atasono is in your year
group...
No,
Eric Atasono is much, much older.
Okay.
But he's like on the board or something.
Yes, so their project was worth $360,000.
What did they do?
They refurbished junior science lab.
Okay.
Yeah, worth $360,000.
So this is a recent speech day?
Yeah.
So that will be the 2000 year group of St. Augustine's.
Yeah.
At Disadel with Ameade Branco, they also did some very interesting things. Check for me. At Disadel. And then there was Infantiman Girls.
Yes. So for Infantiman Girls, so for example, this what they said for the past 4 years, the hosting year groups have been mandated to contribute to the Moga Endowment Fund, which has been used to build an ICT-powered library.
Correct.
Now the reason for this is to ensure that Moga as an association is able to complete a major project in the school, while smaller ones continue to be taken up by non-hosting year groups.
Okay.
So in addition to paying all the bills, covering all the cost of hosting the 4-day event, which culminated in a speech day, that is the prices, logistics, etc., they contributed 300,000 Ghana cedis towards the Moga Endowment Fund.
So this is the Infantiman 2000 year group.
Exactly. And then they also gave a seed money of 25,000 cedis to their juniors. This is the 2001 who will be hosting the next year. So 25,000 plus 350,000.
So 325,000 plus then.
Yeah.
What about the Holy Child girls. Find out from what they did.
Yes, let me do that.
I was telling you that
quickly.
my mates who are your school seniors,
Yes, yes.
They built a bungalow for one of their
The
teachers.
teachers, yes.
Very nice, state-of-the-art bungalow,
Yeah.
which they built. My juniors for Presec did an AI lab, which is
Yeah, which was amazing.
absolutely
They came
amazing.
here.
My mates at Disco also did. They put up a building. I'm not sure. I don't remember what building it was. If you can remind me. And then I saw Mayor Deborah all over social media over the weekend
At Disco.
with Nehemiah Tiga and co. They are Disco, I think 2000 year group.
Yes.
I don't know what they did, so maybe they need to remind me. And then I think there were a few other schools. I think Agri also did their speech over the weekend. And I'm saying all of this because, the Minister of Education is now saying they need a special endowment fund or a special fund to support schools in emergency, because apparently beyond the fire in Laboni, the Tamale Business School had also had some problem, and then a certain school in Ashanti region, as Akrokeri College, also had a storm or something, and there was no immediate. And if you look at the videos of the Laboni girls' dormitory, it was completely destroyed, and you have teenage girls who don't have a place to sleep. So initially, their parents had to come for them. We need to find out how to give our secondary schools more liquidity, how to give them better facilities. I don't think the kind of sanitation situation in our secondary schools is anything to write home about. One of the reasons why maybe our kids will not go to the schools we went to is that the congestion is just too much. You don't want your child to go and... I don't want my child to have the experience I had. Right. So even though I like the school I went to, that's not how you should raise a teenager. Congested in dorms with poor water facilities. No. You need proper sanitation. And so because a lot of parents are pushing their kids into very, very expensive schools, and some are also now preferring day schools because the boarding facilities don't just work. All right. So Notumfo was saying there has to be a way of figuring out this secondary school thing so we don't compromise quality. Luckily, this government is open to that conversation. I think the previous government was not. They were not interested in discussing it openly.
Yeah.
So now people are talking, and I think we need to create the platform for the best ideas, including the forum they are having. So I'll come back to that topic shortly. I just wanted to lay out that. And please, if I haven't characterized your old school project well, let me know. Achimota 2000 year group also did something really interesting.
I have a Disco here.
What did they do?
So a Disco took a project. So dilapidated job 600 was no longer fit for purpose, and it did not reflect the status of our Disco. So here's what happened. So let me quote this. We decided to enhance STEAM education in the school, which will significantly expand the educational infrastructure and facilitate modern learning. As the first alumni group of the new millennium, we feel a strong obligation. So to bring Job 600 building up to a world-class standard, the group needed to raise $300,000 as the facility had not received any major renovation since its construction in the 1960s. So the revitalized Job 600 multi-purpose building, it will feature an amphitheater, 2 physics laboratories, a counseling unit, computer laboratory, robotics center, classroom and staff rooms, a NAMQ room, and then a storage room. So basically, they're undertaking a project that's $300,000 worth. The project is called Job 600. It's a multi-purpose building that has an amphitheater, 2 physics labs, and other facilities that are there. Sometime last year, a number of the old students that came through told us some of them told us they were working on solar-powered projects because of the cost of electricity. Others were drilling boreholes, and some too were building multi-purpose ICT labs and renovating major dormitories that were no longer fit for purpose.
All right, so we'll come back to this shortly. All right, so I'm getting more information on what some schools have done, and this is not to shame anybody, but I think some schools are doing really well. For example, I'm told that the Holy Child 2000 year group raised 2 million CD maintenance fund, a fund that is governed by a board of trustees to cater for past projects and future projects. The whole point is to create a maintenance culture and ensure that all legacy projects are maintained. Charlie, 2 million CDs. So
Yeah.
and Holy Child is not such a big school. Like they are not that many.
Not many.
Charlie, 2 million is a lot of money.
Yeah.
2 million plus maintenance fund, 2 million plus. I mean, this is powerful, man. So I feel like there's a lot of power in this, which is not being harnessed properly. So one of the things I'll urge you to do is to attend this Achimota Speaks thing, Wednesday, March 19 at British Council. They will talk about free SHS. Some very interesting panelists will be there as part of the conversation on how to fix this. Luckily, Otunfo has raised the point again.
Yeah.
There's also the Education Forum. I believe that the National Education Forum will be a very important program.
Yeah.
And all voices must be heard. They should give a space for alumni to also come and talk about what they can do, what PTAs can do, what religious bodies can do. Because I think the question of education is a shared responsibility.
Yeah.
Government takes the lead, sets the policy. But we have to educate our children.
Yeah.
So we cannot leave everything to government.
Yeah.
You know. And the idea of some sort of cost sharing, whether it's day students getting free and borders paying, something has to be put in place, because you can't say government is paying and people be eating gari and what do you call it, gaso for 4, 5 times a week.
See, alumni should sit down and watch.
No, give them proper food to eat because they are growing.
Yeah.
Give the girls better sanitary facilities. You know, let's not give this tokenism like we just. No, let's, because I won't send my child to some of those things. You know that's not the best thing. So please, let's come up with good ideas so that we can build our educational system together. By the way, what's your year group doing?
My year group, they are doing. That's my year group. They're challenging to talk about it.
No, when are you doing your speech day? That's the first.
We are in charge next year.
2026.
Yes.
Oh, so you have a whole year to plan.
Yes.
And then you better perform.
Yeah, we will perform.
Because
they should stop the MPP and DC.
Every year group does it.
No,
that's what keeps.
Charlie,
So I think there are 2 topics: football and politics.
Man, they don't talk football on my platform. All they do is politics.
My group, when Man U is losing or when they do small.
Don't discuss anything.
There's even Has Kotoko on my own. They do small.
I know I'm not much liked on the platform because I don't see anything.
So it's more politics.
It is all they talk about.
No, most platforms is politics.
No. I've seen your platform and what they talk about.
They do politics small, they do football small, they do food small.
There's an even balance.
But politics dominates because in the season.
I'm sure Shadrakud is listening to me this morning. He's the lead advocate.
Why your group politics in Kwa?
I'm up politics, Papa. Me won't be that.
That's what keeps the glue. That's the glue.
The glue. This glue we don't like. They should change.
No, that's what keeps the platform alive.
No, my year group, they should change. They should not change their Subai.
But my year group, they do some good things also.
But
they contribute to help some mates who are not doing well.
But come next year, we'll be prepared. That much. It's a very resourceful group.
You have to be
of young men.
How many are you?
A lot.
You have to look for money.
Oh no. They are very rich,
then they have to pay.
As for my year group.
So, but what does
the people who make up my year group forget?
What does Prempen need? What does Prempen need?
It's a question we must ask ourselves. Prempen needs a lot, you see, because also like Presec, the
numbers
population
has
gone up. I think our seniors did something. Nana Broja and his people did.
This is the 2000 year group.
This is the 99.
99, okay.
Yes, they did some work on improving the water infrastructure. They did a 3-bedroom bungalow, I think, as well as a couple of other projects that have been ongoing. You know, and then for the 75th last year as well, they did some work. But we need to figure out what is important. You know, and this one is where Akolache and Toyin, instead of
your year group
doing back for the president, let us go and check something.
Anyway, so we'll find out more what can be done. My main objective this morning is to discuss how we can harness that powerful resource for national development. Beyond bragging rights and science quiz, secondary education needs to be saved in a very, very meaningful way. And there are lots of people who are interested in helping. Now, let me tell you what Adisadel did. So the Adisadel year group, this is a story on citynewsroom.com. The Adisadel College Millennium Year Group has reaffirmed its commitment to giving back to the community through a series of impactful initiatives. While the group has made history with its ambitious refurbishment of the Job 600 building, the one you mentioned, their contributions extend far beyond the school walls, reaching the broader Cape Coast community through substantial donations to healthcare and education. Imagine this. And then they started listing the things they did.
Okay.
So Saturday, March 8th, during the school's 115th speech and prize giving day, The Millennium Year Group officially handed over the remodeled Job 600, as you read, state-of-the-art facility that now serves as a cornerstone of academic excellence at Adisadel College. The project cost over 4 million cedis.
Jesus.
Was entirely funded through internal contributions, 4.7 million cedis, and external donations of 500,000 cedis, and sponsorships of 754,000 cedis. Can you imagine?
So,
President of the Year Group, Richard Ni Amu Arthur, emphasized the group's dedication to setting new standards. Rather than constructing a new structure, we identified an essential deteriorating facility on campus, science building. Through extensive consultation, we resolved to revamp the multi-purpose building to align with global standards. You read this earlier. Apart from this, beyond the school, the Millennium Year Group extended the goodwill to Adisadel Urban Health Center in Cape Coast by donating essential medical equipment to enhance healthcare delivery. Recognizing the need for improved medical resources, the group presented hospital beds, bedside locker, drip stand, trolley, drawer, cabinet, suction machine, tabletop ultrasound machine, pulse oximeter, digital sphygmomanometer, infrared thermometer, digital thermometer, and clinical thermometers. Can you imagine? The donation aims to strengthen healthcare services for the local community. And then that's not all. Investing in education, empowering the next generation. In addition to their healthcare support, the Millennium Year Group made a meaningful contribution to St. Nicholas Anglican Primary School. Understanding the importance of education in shaping young minds, the group donated cement for infrastructure development, bottled water for students, and reading books and pens to enhance literacy and learning. These contributions reinforce the group's deep-seated belief in the power of education and the need to provide young learners with the necessary resources to thrive. Then they conclude, a celebration of STEAM education. The 115th Speech and Prize Giving Day, held under the theme The Role of STEAM Education for National Development in the 21st Century, was a fitting platform to showcase the group's commitment to academic excellence. Keynote speaker, Dr. Ave Kluche, a NASA scientist and a proud alumnus from the class of 83, encouraged students to actively engage in STEAM projects and proposed the establishment of an emerging technologies club at Adisco, for which he pledged to support as a founding patron. Ochwasuom Osai Nyampong, the 6th patron of the Millennium Year Group, graced the occasion as a special guest, while the Minister for Environment, Science and Technology, Ibrahim Mutala, represented the President as the guest of honor. Then the Adisadel College Millennium Year Group's contributions reflect the broader mission of fostering sustainable development. Of course, they have a journalist in their midst, so whilst a lot of groups did different things, they put together a proper story. Obviously, because Ameya Debra is in that year group. Yeah. So you use your year group to do what you can.
Yes, and also just let me add that for the project that I mentioned, the 99 year group projects, the water improvement, and then the bungalows, there was also Atlanta Senior Peter Kwating, Father Charles was also there.
This is 1999.
Michael Nketia.
And what did they do?
No, that's what I was telling you I did. So they did a water improvement project.
Okay.
To, basically improve water supply to all the dormitories in the school. In addition to the bungalow that they worked on as well.
All right. Okay. So people should stop telling me that their school is better than some school. Tell me what you've done. You know, people are doing things. So it's not about bragging, right? So
St. Rose's.
Tell me what you've done.
St. Rose's has constructed a teacher's bungalow, renovated bathrooms, construction of a new dining hall. That's an additional dining hall.
1 year group?
Yeah. So I think
they also not many. They're like
groups,
Roses is like
very small.
They are
not that many.
So past anniversary year groups have undertaken these projects that I'm listing.
So mention them for me.
Construction of a teacher's bungalow.
Okay.
Renovation of bathrooms. Renovation of and construction of a new dining hall.
Wow.
That is an additional dining hall.
Wow.
Then the provision of dormitory lockers and wardrobes. And now I'm told the current old girls are raising 3 million cedis to provide solar energy for the school.
So you see, the secondary education thing, don't carry it on your head alone. Government, konungukaya. Now,
please.
Otunfo said it.
If you say Kolano Mudi Bancha, the Roses people will not be happy with you. Banching is a key meal.
Let's review free SHS.
Read what
those who can pay.
Read it.
Otunfo said to the second urges government. The Santini Otunfo said to the second has called on the government to revisit the free senior high school policy, urging authorities to consider allowing families with the means to pay for their wards education, while the government support is directed at brilliant but needy students. Speaking during a courtesy call by the Education Minister Haruna Idrisu, Otumfuo acknowledged the importance of the policy, but emphasized the need for a national dialogue to address its current shortcomings. Quote, this free senior high school we are talking about, although we have implemented it, if we have a dialogue and find out that it will result in students coming home every now and then because there is no food, then it is not fit for purpose. The Asantehene expressed concern over the infrastructural and logistical challenges faced by many senior high schools, including overcrowded dormitories, lack of science and ICT labs, shortage of food, and insufficient school buses. Quote, our dormitories are overcrowded, lack of science and ICT labs. Sometimes PTAs make PTAs make contribution to support. Lack of school buses and shortage of food should all be looked at, he noted. Now, while acknowledging the positive intention behind the free SHS, Otumfuo Osei-Tutu II emphasized the need for effective and sustainable implementation to ensure students benefit fully from the program. Quote, let us implement it well so that students will stay in school and have enough to eat.
That's all.
Unquote.
Okay. So more schools are telling us what they've been doing. So apparently a Brie Girls 2000 year group also did some things.
So the recent project by the Brie Girls Secondary School 1999 Old Girls Association, AUGA they call them, AUGA 99, they have focused on transforming a major kitchen and dining hall of their former school. The students were eating in shifts due to space constraints, and so they decided to do something. With the support of old alumni groups, corporate sponsors, Ministry of Education, the determined former students raised 2 million Ghana cedis to implement an ambitious project, a modern kitchen and dining area fully equipped with ministry provided furnishings and a 40-foot cold storage room. Now, at a brief ceremony held ahead of the school's 78th speech and prize giving day, the alumni handed over the facility to the school, an investment that will significantly enhance the school's catering facility. So this is an impact story that we have here on BNFT.
Okay, so that was a Brie Girls. And I need to say that this is just March, so there are quite a number of year groups preparing to do projects and the 2000 year group. So it seems like almost all the schools do 25 years after. I think that's the standard, which is another interesting one. So we are already standardized our alumni contribution. 25 years after you leave school, you have to do something. Some schools do 20 and 30, but mostly it's 25. So the 2000 year group are the ones doing these projects. And I need to say that the quality of what I'm seeing in these year groups is even much better than the previous year groups. Because for Holy Child to have 2 million CD endowment,
which is the way to go.
2 million CDs. That's a lot of money. A Brie Girls too, they spoke about 2 million as well. And
but the question, I guess, is what kind of stake does that give them in the running of
that's
the school?
That's a good point.
You know, because in the end, a year group might have all these things and contribute, but then most of the time we are responding to government policy, aren't we?
So this is what I think. There's government spends money. There's if it's a mission school, there's a church. But the alumni group must be like the third
force
tripod in that triangle.
In terms of
having a say, ownership. I don't know how, whatever. You are the one who's a PTA chairman, but I don't know. There has to be some, because it's episodic and it's very scattered. That's my view. You see, if you don't concentrate your forces, you cannot win. So 2 million here, 1,000 there. I don't think there has to be some. You see, because now secondary education is going through crisis, you cannot just say, let every school do what they can. Let's coordinate it. Let's have a way of standardizing it or something.
Yeah, but the thing also is resources are not the same.
Yeah, but I agree.
You understand?
So
the resources of a Prempeh college will exceed the resources of Swiss school. You understand? So but
the policy doesn't have to be prescriptive as to what, but it has to be prescriptive as to how. You can see, so what I'm saying is that there has to be some understanding by the schools and the government and the churches that now it's a shared responsibility. Maybe the people who are thinking at the forum should put something together. But I feel like it can be a missed opportunity if it's not harnessed well enough. I'm not sure how to harness it. You know, you can know what is required, but don't know how to do it. So I don't know how they should do it, but they should decide. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you guys need to decide what to do with this, because it may not last forever. Because the kind of secondary school education we're having with the crowded schools. Look, Samuel, I'll tell you, you went to Suez School for 5 years and went to Laboni for 2 years. People who go to Suez School now with 3,500 students, if it's a day student, the affinity you have for Suez School, you won't have it in 10 years, because he probably
passed through.
You get it? So if we don't channel it now, it in 20 years, old school spirit may not even be there. Because if I go as a day student and I live in Winneba and I go to Swedru, sometimes I'm in, out, in. What do they even call this thing? Charlie, I go and do classes at home. So I'm doing classes at home. The feeling that he has, where they spent the whole day in the school, they were reading, they were friends, nobody has that time. So in 10 years' time, the old school will not have anything if the system does not perpetrate it. Do you understand? So we are going to a golden age of secondary school feeling. NSMQ, people are happy with their school, 2 million, they are using media to promote. It will not be like there forever. And a government will emerge one day and realize that old students are not even interested in their old schools again. Because a lot of middle class people are sending their kids to other schools. So there has to be more deliberation. So I don't know how.
Yeah.
That you people should think about it. It's not my work. I mean, you are the one who runs it.
Who runs one?
So you should think and talk to your colleagues and say, how do we convert this thing into a more meaningful intervention? Are you following what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Your mind is somewhere.
No, I'm here.
Yeah, okay,
I'm
let's be here.
I'm here.
Yeah. Because he went to
O'Reilly,
and he's been complaining every day that when he goes to O'Reilly now, his heart breaks because the students are mixing with like it's a whole mess.
Yes.
Somebody failed, which is why your school is where it is today.
True.
If some year group has woken up and said, no, this school needs new facilities. If some alumni in the 80s had done something that they are doing, your people will not be in that state they are in now. Where now, basically, non-students can enter the school. You get it? And they are not safe. The facilities are substandard. It's terrible.
And also to the point where perhaps if even a year group decides to take action to the point where they feel this is what rescues the school, what are the limits that will be imposed on them by the government's policy or educational policy? Because if a year group comes and says, okay, we have the resources, look, we are putting up A, B, C, D, we want the school to look like this, we are going here, we are going here, we are going here, and you also have government policy that says, well, you can't do this, you can only do this,
Things must go through a certain process.
channel, but the people also need to move the thing quickly, which is where the point you make about we must find a way to harness this relationship much better, because
Correct.
it is important.
Yeah.
And I remember the story of a headmistress who was transferred because an old student went to donate furniture, and then we had gone there to cover this story. But the point was that the state of the school was so bad that we decided to put some attention on the school, and that incurred the wrath of the education authorities. She was transferred to a school that already had a headmistress.
So basically to go and do what they.
I don't get
But I
it.
think
that's an exceptional issue.
no, that happened
But that
in
happens.
the previous time. But now I don't think they do that
That's what
anymore.
I'm saying. That it's an
Yeah.
exceptional issue. I think what you are trying to tease out of this is, look, there's renewed energies and motivation coming from the old students community.
True.
And I think there's one major thing that can account for this, and it's social media. Social media is the reason we see what we are seeing. We had fragmented efforts from old student communities. Maybe a group of friends from old students of Prempeh College, a year group, make efforts at doing something for the school. Now, social media has become the receptacle for bringing everybody together, for pushing the school brands, and for connecting one another, okay? And so because of that, we have found an immediate vehicle that connects us back to the school within an emotive space, because what actually drives us is the kind of things we used to share when we were in school. That's why you see 50, 60-year-olds, old students, community, when they meet, they behave like the way they used to behave when they were in school. Last week, there was Achimota, 75, 85-year groups. Check the videos out. I mean, they were dancing, they were doing all the things they used to do 40, 50 years ago. And so, social media takes the credit for that. Now, next is, how do we take it to the next level? Now, the stakeholdership equation actually does not have space for all student communities. And that's the problem. Okay? It is government owning, government running, government destroying. As we speak now, we are victims of an ambitious, well-meant government decision to open access. Decision to open access, clean, well-meant. Execution, bastardized. Okay? So this is what we see. Schools are falling apart. Schools are indeed falling apart. So what we sit here today to describe as the effort of all students, is a positive side of it. The negative side is, without that, the schools will all grind to a halt. Because we have buildings, we have infrastructure, but with increased intake, with increased frequency of use of resources, you know what happens to the buildings and the facilities. At the time you, Bernard, were in Presec, how many streams did you have for your year group?
So we had about 4 science, 3 arts, that's 7, 2 business, 8, 9, 1 visual art, 10.
With the same facilities, or near, close to the same facilities,
Yeah.
How many streams do we have now?
Science alone is about 30. Art is about 6.
With the
It's
same
almost like-
geographical space.
It's
So
like,
what I'm saying is that
it's like times 4.
you see, let's not limit. You see, let's not limit the education conversation to just free SHS. We need to move beyond this free SHS thing and look at the stakeholdership again. Because if Achimota School 2-year groups can raise 2 to 3 million cedis within a space of 2-3 months,
Then the same school, the kids are going to school without paying fees. All
I'm
of
just
them.
saying that. I'm just saying that it's an indication that if their involvement is more structured and plugged into the ownership system, it may well turn out to produce better outcomes than just come and donate and go. Really, if you want something done and the headmistress and the school board say that won't do it, what can you do to them? Because they don't report to you. They report to Ghana Education Service. So this is the time that we used to harness. We need to harness this renewed energy to plug into the ownership and the management of the schools.
So now I want you to elaborate. When you say to plug into ownership and management, are the old students in a position to help manage a school?
It's treble yes. 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 I mean, the fact that the old students maybe have been given a responsibility of managing the school doesn't mean that an old student necessarily will have to do it. It means that they will be involved in the recruitment of the management of the school. They will be involved in the setting up of the board of the school. They will be involved in evaluating, measuring, and determining the outcomes. You understand?
In a more formal way.
Exactly.
Than what persists now.
Yes, because the thing is that this one, somebody sits at the ministry, somebody sits at the politician somewhere, keeps loading people with good grades, bad grades, whatever, because they so wish. If the old students get involved in a more formal way, we can manage this thing better. This is my thinking.
Okay.
Yes, the other side of it is the inequality is that the less endowed schools are going to suffer. But therein comes the government scholarship scheme.
Sorry, but we haven't even finished the first point. On the the endowed schools, how, because for example, some of the schools like Presec, luckily our old student global president is the board chair of the school. So what makes our own easy is that whatever we are doing as alumni, the school is like we do it together. So I'll give you an example. When we were organizing my speech day, there was a committee of the whole, which had a committee of teachers and a committee of the year group organizing. When we were organizing the Presec conversations that we did third quarter of last year, there was a committee involving alumni and teachers. So we found, and I think our unique situation is because for a long time, from Markway's time, Markway was head of, he was global alumni president and he was board chair. Then Specialized has also become, so there is no gap. Do you understand? So when we're going to organize the Presec conversation on, I think the one we had, Frank Edu, I went to see the board chair and he gave his blessing. We had a committee where teachers involved, the school was involved. So are you talking about that kind of arrangement where the people who are in charge of the alumni have a direct relationship with school management? So we didn't have any problem
at the highest level
in that sense, because there's one man who is both the two. But I don't think every school has that. Yes. Where, for example, in your case, you have a board chair who's different. So what I'm trying to say is that there has to be, the school has to figure out how to engage the old students in a way that makes them release their energies and their knowledge in a consistent way. And I'll give you an example. When you go to Presec, we have the Alumni Mentorship Center. The people who run it are alumni. So Benjamin, who's like the guy who runs the place, there's a small radio station there. He's an alumni who I think is even, but he's also a teacher in the school. So I don't know if there's a model we can use to create that environment you are referring to.
I think every school has its own culture. Okay. Take a school like Wesley Girls High School. I mean, this whole thing we are discussing about giving back to school, to our alma maters in a more, if you like, deliberate way, in my memory, was actually spearheaded by Wesley Girls.
Really?
Okay. When Wesley Girls started doing this thing of going back to the school to give and get things done, it wasn't even, style, a normal thing. Okay. Kwabuche also continued. Okay. And so every school has their own culture. And I think that schools, knowing themselves, can take advantage of the prevailing culture to advance this conversation. Okay. I am not so sure whether the motivation is normally triggered by the school. Okay. It's not triggered by the school management. Okay. Because it happens within an emotive space. It is the feelings of nostalgia and the friends that we have missed and the kind of bond that we shared while we were in school. When it is rekindled, when there's a promise of reliving it. That's why when there's an invitation for you to have an old students meeting, the first question you ask is, who else is coming?
Very important.
You get me? So within that emotive space, our energies are drawn to help our schools. But we are saying that it's not pouring water into a basket. We don't want to be helping the schools and not be able to measure the intended outcomes. And look, Ogasco, 2001 year group or 2001 year group.
2000.
Yeah, 2000. They spent almost $400,000.
Yeah.
Almost $400,000.
Yeah, he mentioned.
Yeah. Okay, 390,000 US dollars. That's how much they contributed. Okay. Now, if this contribution is discordant with government policy for running and maintaining the school, what have you just done?
So, I want to ask you a question. So the old students, are the old student groups aligned on this point? Are the old student groups
interested,
thinking along the same lines, or this is your personal thinking?
This is my personal thinking, but I would be quick to say that different old student groups have varying degrees of influence and advancement in how they are engaged with their school. Joel Nete leads the Achimota Old Students Association. Now, why are we not surprised at the strides they are making. If you look at Joel Neti and you look at his track record in his personal life and his business, why aren't we surprised? So there's a leadership question as well. Okay, now he may not be the one that instructs people to do what they do, but he becomes the unifying factor in directing affairs. What Achimota did this last week is a world-class standard. Godfred, you are into the arts. You should see the traditional thing that they did.
I saw snippets of it.
If Achimota School will be minded to record only that one, bring it to us, ChannelOne, we'll play it on TV. Because when I watched it, the first thing that popped up in my head was Umoja. Of course, without the negative side of it. You understand? Very well curated traditional performance for people in secondary school. Now, if at this your level in secondary school you are exposed to this one, it tells you of a possibility in life. I'm just saying that they did an amazing work. Okay? Now, what we are asking is, with the dwindling fortunes of government support for secondary education, how can we harness this new energy in advancing the fortunes of our schools?
I'm back to the question I'm asking you. So you see, what I'm trying to get you to tell me is, between you and all these people who lead this effort, are you clear in your mind about what Alumni can do for secondary education? Is there some clarity or unanimity about what you can do?
You mean among the old students community?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
And I
not individually.
No, and I responded.
I mean collectively.
Yeah, and I responded by saying that each school is cultured differently, and the makeup of the old student body leadership is different from one school to another.
Fair enough.
We may share concerns, but the approach will be different.
No problem. See what I'm saying? I'm trying to move the thing to a point.
Yeah.
Because we are in a situation where the government is now soliciting views for secondary education. This is a very good time to discuss this. So it will be important for there to be a meeting of minds among alumni on what they believe they can do, so that there's a certain understanding by government and other stakeholders of the role of alumni generally, beyond what we see. Do you get my point? Because this is the time everybody is soliciting ideas. So, for example, in the meetings they were holding with the Education Forum, did they give the chance for alumni to come and make a presentation? Did they say that they will invite alumni heads to come to the National Forum to present a paper, for example, on a proposed... Do you understand? Is there like a pilot where you can say one school believes that they can partly own... Because think about it. If 1 year group can raise 2 million, 10-year groups can raise 20 million. So 15-year groups can raise 30 million. I'm coming. Now, that 30 million could be a seed money to say this is equity stake in a school. Do you understand what I'm... So I wanted to...
I actually answered the question.
No,
Maybe
I didn't hear.
What I said was that there's an inequality here. I am for Swedu Secondary School, 100%. In the last 2 months, we've been trying to raise some money. I think the target was 1.5 million. Okay,
Yeah.
We're able to raise, I think, 350,000, and that's Swedu Secondary School. No, and just so 350,000 to 1.5 million. Okay,
You will get there. Sorry, no, I'm haggling you. Go.
So I'm just saying that the inequality is that we are not all resourced
At the same level. Good.
So we can't possibly have a blanket approach to doing this thing.
Fair enough.
So maybe we should have a space which allows for all students to contribute in a more meaningful way and recognize as part of the stakeholder equation. That's all I'm saying. So for instance, if 2-year groups in Achimota will raise 2 million cedis, just 2-year group, 75, 85, and please correct me if I'm wrong, 75, 85, 2 million within a short time. And that 2 million is not what they use to organize the event. Oh, that one is what they give to the school for whatever project. And we are not even talking about the cost of running the whole Founders Day program. And that is Achimota School. If you go to Wesley Girls, they have done an amazing job. Holy Child did a fantastic job. You understand? Now, over this weekend, in Fancyman School, We saw Giftianti spearheading all these things, you know. And
saw St. Mary's too with
St. Mary's,
and
yeah,
then Yasan Tua last year.
Yeah, Jimensa and the team, all of them involved. Okay, 15 years ago, if you tried doing this thing, you probably will not have even a quarter of the people who attended.
Become more solid
Because of social media, and they see themselves on social media.
Yeah, man.
You understand? So I'm just saying that it's the inequality is there. How we can find a common ground to get all students connected to the development of the
So let me
Hold
pick
on,
it. Okay.
hold on. I'm liking the idea a bit, and perhaps I think that elements of the suggestions Samens is making exist somewhere. So, for instance, we could get to the point where we have accepted convention that you just described the PSEC situation where Special Ice is on the board. Samens, I think, is on the board of Swesco, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I'm not.
But you see, here's the situation. Prempeh College, the amount for have a seat on the board.
You are not on the board,
No. We have a seat on the board.
but you are not the person.
But no, I'm not.
But PSC have a seat on the board.
Oh, the board chairman is an old student.
No, but he's what we're saying is that there should be an allocation
No,
on
there
the
is,
board.
there is.
So
For the-
there is.
there seems to
There
be a
is.
So that is a starting point, then, isn't it?
Yes.
There seems to be consistency across the board where a lot of the schools have roles or automatic slots.
Yes.
Now, are we looking for an increase in those numbers? Because if you're looking, because I was aware of a situation back in the day where you could not appoint a headmaster, whoever you are,
Yeah.
the minister of whoever, you cannot appoint a headmaster to Prempeh College
If
without the old students saying yes. It won't happen. Because, and we've had a situation where the old students have come out and say, this headmaster you people brought us is supervising a fall in standards. Take him somewhere else. And it has happened. Okay.
So they are very interested like that.
So they are very interested like that. So there are avenues where perhaps that relationship, starting at board level, where
Yeah.
they are in the room
Yeah.
with the headmaster, with the director of education, because the director of education normally is also on the board,
yes.
with those other persons, where then we can have proper conversations
Okay.
about, okay, the government has this policy that it is carrying out now.
Yeah.
But this is how we can carry it out here. You see, because if you reverse the situation, let's look at the US model slightly at the college level,
Yep.
for instance. The alumni of even your basic Ghanaian who attends a third tier US school,
They will
on
write
his bumper he has
He has
put,
it.
I went to, I'm a
Because
Spartan,
every week they will
I'm
send
a
you
this.
email. You have to
Every
come.
week they are on to something else.
Yeah.
You see, but and also at the decision making level of what the school should look like, its standards, who
Yeah.
comes in, enrollment levels, diversity, funding, all those things, those people have a key say. It does not mean that the US does not have
Yeah.
a policy on education. No.
They do.
But
But the alumni drive it brutally.
the alumni drive those conversations in understanding, one, that every school also has a different culture.
Okay, can I use what the two of you have said to propose something? So let me give a proposal. So for example, there are two levels here. There are mission schools and non-mission schools.
Let's start from there.
So you
From
can
the mission ones, there are a lot.
So you can say for the mission schools, there's already a three-way relationship:
Yes.
government, church, or mosque, and then alumni. This is my proposal. This episodic 1 million, 2 million, 1 million, 2 million that they are doing, somebody should come up and say, look, let the school be valued. All right, so let's say we need 50 million CDs for the next 4 years to expand infrastructure in PRESEC. Alumni should raise 30 million. We are talking about top tier schools now.
Okay.
That 30 million is like some equity they've brought into the school to be joint owners of the school with the church and the state. And that then gives them rights to do different things. As an example, I bet you are coming with proposals.
Yeah, I'm listening to you.
So that's tier one, right? And I'm sure, because if 1 year group can raise 2 million, because for me, we are in an era of resources we need. We need to expand resources for the secondary schools. so that students will be more comfortable. It's very clear that whatever government does, they will promise a lot of things. They cannot deliver on the level of infrastructure you need to have the students have a comfortable education. But because the alumni effort is scattered, this year this person does this person that year does this. If that money is brought together, and I'm talking of tier 1 schools who have money, based on your point about differences in resources, you can say, let's put all of them, because in the universities in America, they have endowments.
Yes.
If you create a 50 million CD endowment for PRESEC, which the alumni are custodians of, then there can be a more structured say in many things that happens in that school. Because the church is the one that founded the school, the government is the one that sort of runs the so this is my proposal. Whilst government pays the day-to-day teachers and deals with certain kinds of infrastructure, that endowment can go into, say, we want to expand accommodation and bungalows. They invest it and they find a way of using that over. Because right now, my year group did a science lab. This year group did solar. It's not money has to be brought together to be unleashed. Okay, but I will only contribute that if I know that I have a say in the long term something. So that's what you do for the tier 1. Then the tier 2s too, you can come up with a different structure. But I think that when people believe that they own part of this the thing, it helps them to be more connected to what happens there. So that's an example. There could be other suggestions, but I feel like harnessing those resources to create some sort of endowment fund that can be translated into some sort of equity into school ownership, I think it's a good way to go. As an example, I don't know what you think about that.
Well, I think that is a good discussion. I am all for the school ownership thing, but we just have to admit that there will be some inequalities in that one. I mean, which old students community wants to commit 30 million cedis to a school and not be part of the decision making?
Nobody.
You put 30 million cedis because you want to expand infrastructure. For a certain government to change the school population
at the stroke of a pen,
2,000 to 5,000, because so that every time when you put in the money, then they will take advantage and will have the bragging rights.
Never.
So I think that's why I keep talking about the stakeholdership, that we need to recraft the stakeholdership thing so that the schools that have what it takes to do should be given the space and regulated properly, directed to do it. It's Ghana that benefits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The schools that do not have, and I've seen people say, that some of the messages we receive, the schools that do not have, we need to also figure out how we can bridge the gap.
Yes.
Okay, for a school like Ketasco, brilliant school, go and see the infrastructure situation at Ketasco.
They have money.
But let me come back to you. Even with even with your tier that you were saying that you couldn't raise that much money, you've been able to get, for example, alumni to be part of the teaching. So now, if Swesco has this maths teaching they do on vacations, that helps. You get it, and
no,
that's
while they're in school.
Yes. And my point is that so that is also contribution.
Oh no,
so you contributed 300k. You have teachers who are coming to you have alumni, all students who are coming to teach
certain
Form
subjects.
3s, certain subjects regularly. There can be a mentorship program that is also valued.
We do.
Okay, and I think that those things you need to put it
in
on.
the last 1 year.
Yeah.
Okay, we have built a new masters, a 4-flat masters bungalow. Okay,
Just in the last year.
Yes, in the last year. So
4 flats.
Yes, so there are 4 flats.
So
in
four
the
teachers can.
Yes, four teachers.
Correct.
Okay, so every year we put one down there. Okay, it cost us maybe around 1.2 million cedis. Okay, now the point is that we still have talked about the gap between the teaching body who live on campus versus the population of borders.
Too
You
serious.
have population, an
discipline.
active population of between 2,500 and 3,000.
Then you have 30 teachers on
We have
campus.
30 teachers living on campus. This is magic. This is the
It
definition of magic.
doesn't make sense.
So our foremost responsibility
Yeah.
is to try and help
Yeah.
get more teachers to live on campus.
Do you have land for more?
We do
bungalows?
have land. We do have land. We have expanded the dining hall together with the Parents Association. We have made it double the size of what it used to be. Okay, we are
Let me push you. If a financial institution came and said they could finance 10 bungalows and then the alumni should commit some money to make the payment over a 10-year period. Would that be a good idea? Because you've done one at a good price.
Yeah.
So you've managed to do it without it being escalated.
Yeah.
So let's say, how much do you spend on the 4 units?
I think maximum is 1.2 million.
So if you got 12 million, you could do 10.
Yeah.
Now that 12 million, if you give yourself, I don't know which financial institution should, but I think they should come into a conversation, because now the alumni are a credible group who have a means of collecting money. If they give them 12 million and say, we are giving you a 5-year period to spread and pay, if you can see 10 bungalows with 4 units each, that's about 40 possible families.
Yeah.
That is a game changer.
That is true.
And so for me, my point is that, so as he's saying, the funding model for the Suezco one may not be the one for the Presec one.
Yes.
But there should be an instrument where the government will say, yes, we endorse this. They can even give a guarantee that the alumni have committed 1
X amount.
million to do the first one. If you give them a 12 million, fine, they will say government doesn't need new debt. But for me, right, the alumni is helping government solve a long-term problem. So even if you give a guarantee and the alumni, because of their contributions, we can figure it out. You know, for me, when you have desperate times, you need solutions like this. And I want to urge the education authorities and those in the education forum to be open to these kinds of ideas and not just come do window dressing and then do minimalist improvements. Because what we face is a population bulge and a massive unemployment challenge. If our students don't have the type of education that can make them competitive, we will not win. Now, you cannot be competitive as a fresh SHS graduate without certain skills.
Yeah.
You need a proper science lab. You need the space to learn. What we are doing is hencoop education. Pack them in a classroom. Teacher comes with a notebook, come and write on the board. They cannot compete anywhere.
The teacher is already angry.
You get it? So this is an imperative of it's a bold solution you need. And I think that for the first time, we have alumni heads who are willing to engage. Let me give you some of the examples. In Fancy School, Joel Nete, a brig.
No.
Sorry, Fancy what's the name?
Maiden.
Yeah, Moses Bede, Achimota, Joel Nete, a brig girls. It used to be the registrar of UPSA. I forget her name now.
Okay. Doctor.
Yes, call you right.
Yes.
Bruno Presec already. Special eyes. I could go on and on and on. These are all people of credibility and good standing in society. They have mobilizing power. A lot of the alumni groups now are energized. So right now, you don't need to do much to get them to contribute.
But the leadership, actually,
the leadership is what is energizing the thing.
The leadership. I mean, you were lucky to have Reverend Markwe at the time you had him.
I think he's packed of
a lot across board, not just Presec.
And it's continued.
Yes.
With, and even you with Suezco, right? I saw a program recently. Otabil was there, Otin Jesse was there, Agridanko was there. I didn't even know these people went to Suezco. You get me? Head of civil service, they are all Suezconians. I didn't even know. So, but what I'm trying to say is that
two of them.
What I'm trying to say is that
Dr. Glover Kote too was head of civil service.
What I'm trying to say is that now there's a certain group of leaders of these schools who are willing to engage, who are willing to go beyond what is normal. A lot of them may never enter politics. The way they want to help Ghana is to use their old students to help. I want to urge the education minister to have a conversation with them. All right? If you can make it to the Achimota program on Wednesday, he should. Otherwise, during the engagements, he should spend time and listen to these people. Because this is what I say. We have generations of leaders. The stars don't always align. The stars don't. In fact, I am in JSS product today because some people decided that they were going to do JSS some years ago. And it's affected me. So usually, a generation of leaders can emerge and their decisions can influence the next 50 years. So this is a chance they have that they shouldn't waste, because I don't think you will get that caliber of people again, maybe for the next 10 years. Because I think that is the O-level, A-level system that created the bond people have with their schools. The 3 years didn't create that much bond. I like Presec, but it's because all 4 of my brothers went there.
To Presec, yeah.
You get it? But it's not like his time, where you spent 7 years in the school. So if we don't do something with this thing, in 15 years, somebody went to O'Reilly school. Charlie be their student. You go there 3-4 times. They do classes for house. He doesn't care about O'Reilly. And that resource will no longer be there. If we don't do something today, I don't see any opportunity for us to do anything else. Carly, read some messages for me.
Old students of Anglon Secondary School and NESCO 94 O-level year
Anseko.
Oh, sorry, Anseko. Okay. Renovated a staff common room, provided new furniture and cabinets to mark the 30th anniversary after leaving school in 1994. The event happened in 2024. This is Emmanuel Wode secretary. Okay, so the Hopsa 2000 year group also gave the 2001 year group 50,000 CDs for their legacy project annually. Thank you. We mentioned that. Free SHS in Ghana. Let's be clear about this policy. In our educational system and the challenges that comes with it. I am of the view that those who have greater interest in it, that is parents of students, administrators and educators who have their own children in the schools, should be the ones making decisions and not politicians who have their children in private and international schools. Those who have their kids in senior high schools feel it more than anyone else. Cole from New Jersey, USA. Good morning, Bernard and team. Past Ola Girls, Poga 99 and 2000 also hosted their 71st speech and prize giving day last Saturday, together with other year groups celebrating various milestones like 85, 2005, and 2015. Each year group contributed 100,000 Ghana cedis towards the legacy project, that is the construction of a new dormitory block. This is from Mame Lompo 2005 year group. Good morning, please. Many basic schools in Koforidua had their roof ripped off due to the rainstorm in recent times. Please kindly include them in the challenges of the education sector. Okay. Aloski Ola, who also had their speech and prize giving day over the weekend.
Yes.
They want to build 900 bed dormitory facility.
Hey, 900?
I think if I'm right.
Or 90?
Agbako.
It will be 90.
90.
Oh, 900 is possible. I mean, we have something about 300 to 400 bed hostel for girls.
Biheko all students, you have a dorm you have to renovate.
Biheko would have to renovate the whole school.
Oh man, Bernard, while we are at it,
Samir Rafi and Larry Alandogbe, who's
Larry speaking English here is
they have to renovate the whole school.
Let me finish the rest of the messages I have.
I think
no, let him finish the messages.
No, just
before
I forget, just my train of thought. I beg you.
Okay.
I think the increase in numbers has impacted the role of. So, for instance, someone mentioned Kita School. Kita School has always been a small school in terms of the students who go there. And
is that big school?
No. In terms of the numbers,
the physical, space.
You know.
Okay, I haven't been there.
Yes,
before, so
and so they've always been able to look after themselves.
Now it's become too big.
So even like with Presec or some of these other schools, most of them were able to, with the old students doing this and that, they were able to just keep the schools manageable. But the problems have become exacerbated, and we are now spending more money because whereas previously it will cost Swesco maybe 50,000 or 60,000 to look after the school, the PSC, it is costing them 6-7 times that now to do the same things that they were doing maybe 5 or 6 years ago.
I'm told that some of the alumni people went to the education forum, so some of them.
Oh, they did.
Yes, so some of them actually went to do presentations. I don't know. You can check that. Let's read some
Bernard,
comments.
Absu 98 built a 4-unit, 2 or 3 bedroom flat for their tutors. Nice. Adisado 99, solar power for all school blocks. Wonderful. Bernard, some of the challenges linked to free SHS are issues that have always existed in our schools and are not necessarily a result of the policy itself. Even before free SHS, high schools faced food shortages and poor meal quality. The focus should be on sustaining the program while identifying a dedicated funding model. Old school groups and PTAs should be actively involved in school management, and a well-structured feeding strategy must be put in place to ensure efficiency.
So you see, on this model, for instance, back then, as I recall, on a Sunday, you will have a random old student appear at the dining hall as part of what happens to eat the food that the students are eating.
Which date was this one?
Sorry, can you repeat what you said?
You understand? We had that scenario back then, where dining hall, random old students to show up.
Oh, then you tell your boy, so when you
no, I'm
to be sure, our boys are eating the right food.
So you see,
Charlie.
so this problem that has come up, it's part of those things. So the feedback will go that the food, the quality of the food is this.
It's not good.
It's not good,
It's
or
true.
that.
It's true. You are right.
You know, there was a period where we had to Charlie. We were there, no Professor Ajman Bedu Akosa. Bananas showed up.
When you politicize education, that's what happens. Everything just Pascal like that.
Bananas just showed up one Sunday.
Like the boys are eating
that's
non-balanced diet.
He said the food was not balanced. We were there when they brought bananas.
Wow. What year is this?
Oh, this was in 2001.
Prempes Basu.
If we want to solve the problem, I think we should elevate it beyond just a free SHS problem.
Conversation.
That's all I'm saying.
The secondary school.
It's a secondary education, how to make progress with it on all fronts. Noting that there are real poor people who cannot even take one step without a free SHS. They can't. And there are some people who are ridiculing the free SHS because, you know, so whatever it is, we should make a decision that we can sustain. I mean, somebody says that, oh, you leave the free SHS and look at how you can support it. Free SHS is a policy that was crafted by somebody. And there's no education policy that is not driven by availability of resources.
Yeah. Okay,
so how do you justify that policy if you know that you don't have resources to sustain it? You know, this sloganeering thing is what has brought us here.
True.
Let's hurry up and have a slogan for it. And you have a slogan that is empty. Because what would bring value to the slogan is non-existent. Whereas we are proud of free SHS, we always ask policymakers and politicians, how many of you have been, quote and unquote, beneficiaries of this free SHS? With your children.
By sending your children.
By sending your children and believing that.
Papa.
You understand?
Sure.
So if you are not, if you can't,
if it's not good enough for you, then you know that we have to work on it to improve it. If it's not good enough for your child,
and we have to take it very seriously. We have to take it very seriously because you think that you can take your child to the international school, okay? Your child will grow up, become a manager somewhere. The secretary that he has to depend
can't even type.
Went to a school that has not taught her how to type.
And we can't be competitive in the world. So that's the thing. It's a national challenge. It's not a personal. People shouldn't look at it as a national. So, and a lot of these guys who are shouting, they are already, a lot of these guys, their kids are being university level now, which is something else I want people to know. So a lot of these alumni people who are making all the noise, most of them, their kids are at university level or beyond. So it's not because they are trying to get their child into a school or that they need a space in the school.
I think for us as a station, our contribution should be to bring the alumni leadership together to also have our own discussion on what we think will be the ideal way to plug into the school system.
Give me more comments, please.
Right. Old Boys of Infants Film School are doing something great with sports facilities, necessitating their recent performance in sports, making it an all-around school. The Mauli School OMSU 2004 year group celebrated its 20th anniversary, and we renovated and equipped the school clinic and brought the facility to a HEFRA standard that allows the clinic to accept NHIS and also serve the school community. And also cases from outside the school premises. The project cost us about 170,000 Ghana cedis. We raised this amount within 7 months. Selassie Jikunu, Treasurer Papa, good morning.
OMSU 2004. Add it.
Yes. I read that earlier.
2004.
2004 OMSU. Good morning, Bernard and team. I'm enjoying the conversation as usual. One of the recent projects the GSTS Alumni Association has embarked on is the renovation of our classroom blocks. It's a 3-floor twin-story building with more than 10 rooms, complete makeover from roofing to cabinets and electricals. Well done. I can also say that the Akoras also do a lot to support Achimoto School. 1999 OAA year group raised $50,000 for asset fund to cater for old structures on campus. Prosper Damanye.
I'm told the 2000 year group is also putting up 18-unit classroom block.
Who's putting up 18?
Motown.
2000 year group 18-unit classroom block. Charlie, 18 unit too.
So you see the point I was making.
And it's about 3 million.
That's actually
18 units.
They're rebuilding the school.
Charlie,
why would they do it? Because
18 unit classroom
your
block.
alma mater represents you in many ways.
Your alma mater matters. In fact, your alma matters.
Because for some of them,
18
even
units.
their own children did not go to Achimota
But
school.
still, they will build it.
But they are doing it because there's joy in seeing the school
Thrive.
that
Formed
formed you. Look good. I mean, look.
18 unit classroom block. Can you imagine? 18 unit classroom block. That's amazing.
This is amazing.
Kale, read more comments for me.
So, good morning.
And by the way,
issue
when is the
of all
national
students-
education from the final one? Do we know?
This week.
Is it? Because it has to be given the right coverage and the right context. And you, the people, have to storm there. You, the alumni people, you have to go.
Why if they don't invite you? What are you
Oh, you can invite yourself. You're a big man. Just go. Say, hey, we have come for the forum. Yeah. Where
There
is
is a message from the Second National Catholic Education Forum,
Beautiful.
which was held over the weekend, between March 10 to 15th.
Give me the
of
highlights.
this year. So some highlights. They issued a communique and then wrote some things to the government. So they on TVET, the Office of the General Manager of TVET and Technical and Vocational Education and Training explores more effective ways of linking TVET institutions with industry to generate the interest of industries in TVET. Now, the Office of the General Manager of TVET should explore more ways and seek sponsorship for the training and continuous professional training for teachers in TVET. Let me give you some data here, Bernard. That's quite interesting. So, according to the Catholic bishops, they have 5,453 basic schools,
Wow.
82 senior high schools, 41 TVET schools, 4 special schools,
Wow.
and 13 colleges of education,
Chale.
as well as 10 other tertiary institutions, including nursing training colleges and universities. And this makes them the second largest education provider next to the government.
They are bigger than some governments in Africa.
Yes.
In what they provide.
So
and
they've
the
made some
Presbyterians are not
demands.
too far behind.
Yeah. So they've made some demands of the government. So for the government of Ghana, that one, it assents to the memorandum of understanding that respects the partnership that should exist between the government and the missions in the management of schools pursuant to the Pre-Tertiary Education Act 2020 Act 1049, that faith-based schools shall enter into memorandum of understanding with the Education Service for effective and efficient management of faith-based schools. That it restores the roles of general, regional, and local managers in the management of Catholic education, i.e., promotion, appointment, posting, and effective supervision of personnel to Catholic schools. 3, that it provides the Catholic Church a permanent representation at the Ministerial Advisory Board of Education and the Ghana Education Council, since she is the second largest provider of education. They have something they've written for special schools, TVET,
Wow.
on and on. It goes on, and senior high schools. There are some more details that when time permits.
So,
later,
as you said,
can
we will
provide.
dedicate a bit more time to this. I'm sure the discussion on Wednesday, we can put it on air as well, and then organize another platform to bring all these ideas together.